Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Chalice Chats. It's been a little while in real time for me. I'm gonna just kind of roll against these walls here, and I'm actually gonna run back and roll against, that's not back. We gotta go the other way to go back. To the very first lantern and rolled against some walls there as well. I got a tip in an episode, I think it was probably about 2 weeks ago in real time, that somewhere very deep in the Chalice dungeons, there is or are, I don't know, actually no, an illusory or several illusory walls that are somewhere around the lanterns that are important. It's taken me a while to actually put that advice into practice because I recorded the episodes out in advance, and then I had to wait because there's not all that much dungeon left as far as I'm aware, and I wanted to make sure I gave people time to respond to my question about how they felt about continuing the series with my first Feated Rotted Curse thing. And we'll just push open the doorway here, see what we're up against, since we're going straight to the boss here. And it looks like we have another repeat. This is, great. Off to a fine start. This is the Pthumerian Descendant, is the official translation. I've been rewatching some of my older Chalice chats for a little bit of a side project. Wow, that was cool. That, pirouette thing? I'm probably gonna die, but it was still cool. Uh-oh, I forgot he throws it. Anyway, the boss name is Pthumerian Descendant. Of course. I gotta remember to try and dodge forward. And while I'm still trying to make a point, I'll try and concentrate and stay alive and use some blood vials to do so. Oops. And nope. Pain. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to get everyone's feedback to finish the point I started making first, and then we'll get back to the boss name. I wanted to give people time to respond with their thoughts as to the viability of my tackling the Feated, Rotted, Cursed right Chalice dungeon. And the response there was, I have one comment, say it was a good idea, and nothing else. And in the got the dodge. In the absence of any other information, I'm going to stick to kind of my own plan, which, of course, was to go forward with it. So that is going to be the direction the series takes going forward. I also now know to be careful of those illusory walls by the lanterns. Because I think I got the advice while I was still in ease. If that's... Oops, look at that. That attack was so slow. Uh-oh. And there we go. Attack was so slow, it hit me even though I dodged away from it. Alright, hello again. I was saying that, oh great. Usually I can use the time that the loading screen is up to think of whatever my point was, but for whatever reason, it just ran straight out of my head. I think I was saying that in the absence of further information, I'm going to stick to my inclinations, and therefore go ahead with the Feated, Rotted, Cursed Chalice plan at the end. And then I'll get back to analyzing the boss name here, even though I've already done it. It couldn't hurt to give a little bit more information. So we have Pthumeru in katakana at the start, and then we have no, which I'm trying to be careful, but the caution is still not necessarily warranted because it's still, that particular no can be replaced with of. And then we have Matsue, which means descendant. Matsu meaning and I think this is also translated as Scion in the opening, the different paths that you can, the different starting builds that you can choose between at the very start of the game. I think Matsue is used to mean the end of a line, and it's translated as Scion. It's the Scion in Noble Scion, if I recall the opening backgrounds correctly. And it comes from the fact that in a minute here when I get back into the boss room, you'll be able to see the second to last character there. Reading from left to right, the second to last character is Matsu, which means end, and then A at the very, very end means descendant. So kind of the latest descendant. And so this is the kind of the Scion of Pthumeru, I guess would be another potential translation here. Ow. That was a very short attempt. Oh, right. I think I remember. I was talking about my my like side plans that I've been doing. I've actually been going back over old episodes of this is the wrong way. This is why this is why I need to try and focus on what I'm doing more in the game. But before I actually do that, of course he threw it. Before I actually do that, I want to mention the sort of side project that I was working on. I've been going back through old episodes of Translationborne and the Chalice chats, kind of making notes about what topics I'm covering at each episode and at what times. I started this kind of just thinking it would be useful for my own purposes, because I have done a terrible job of like actually keeping track of the things that I do and say in Translationborne. Like there's no actual like saved scripts. I do write scripts, I just don't save them. So I've been very bad about archiving all of this. For a long time, there was no archive of my literal translations. I mean, I wasn't even doing them. And then Last Protagonist offered me a place to put them on his translation comparison chart. The Lore Retranslation Guide, if I remember its actual title correctly. So that's when I first got something of a record of my work. And I decided, you know what, it's probably better if I'm a little bit more organized about these things. Plus, it's nice to know what I have and haven't talked about, and where I've talked about it, so that I can revisit things, especially as we get towards the end of Translationborne as a series, because I like to be able to refer back to... Whoops, I was out of stamina. I like to be able to refer back to older episodes where I've covered either... usually covered some aspect of something that I'm talking about before. And so rather than having to go back and rewatch episode after episode based off of weird episode titles that I think sound cool as opposed to being actually informative, and and half-remembered recollections of what I talked about when and in what areas, it would be nice to have a record. And then as I was putting that list together, I had basically gotten through most of the Translationborne episodes when I got a comment from Charred Thermos. If you follow my channel, you're probably already familiar with that one. That's the one where, dodge. There we go. That's the one where the analysis is kind of based off of the historical medical history that inspired parts of this game. Some really cool, very interesting explanations of things that I think add a lot of information and detail to what's present in Bloodborne. And I seem to have made it to Phase 2, despite the fact that I'm just yammering on. Anyway, I reference those notes to be of some help in the construction of the latest video at the time of recording, which I'll get to in a second here. At the time that I'm recording this episode, the latest Charred Thermos special is on the Blood Saints and the history that actual nuns in the real world had as charitable nurses in medical history. Like I said, it's pretty interesting. Gives a lot of helpful background information. Helpful and interesting. So, Anyway, that experience of being able to give someone else that reference made me think, you know what? It'd be nice if even more people were able to potentially have reference to this sort of information without having to specifically ask me for it. But of course, if I'm going to share the information that I've compiled to others, I don't necessarily want it to be in the crazy rough form that I've been just doing for my own sake. So I'm trying to kind of clean that up so that I can present it a little bit better. And at the same time, I figured I might as well include the kind of more relevant points that I make in the Chalice chats. So I'm putting together that as kind of a reference document, and I'm hoping now, actually, that by the time I'm done with Translationborne, rather than just be a list of what topic I cover at what point in which episode, I can eventually turn it into like a proper index for the different items in this series and when I say what about them, and that can potentially be a useful resource. Now, I don't imagine it'll be especially handy because, I mean, it's been, how long? Bloodborne came out in 2015, and at the time of this recording, it is the end of 2022. So I imagine all the people who ever want to reference anything about Bloodborne have probably already done so. But, you know, I've certainly been very, very wrong about what it would and wouldn't be useful to have available to people in the past. And I figure, you know what? I'd rather err on the side of providing information that people don't use rather than not providing the information and therefore having that be an impediment to one or the other person. So I'm hoping to have that sort of proto-index ready to go by the time I finish this round of Chalice chats. I'll probably announce that in a channel update at some point. And, alright, I think, listen to me. I think that about covers the topics that have nothing to do with the boss name. The kind of future plans both for this series and to some extent for this channel. And, oops. Alright. And so that brings us back to the boss name, which I've basically done the analysis for. I noted kind of in going back in those older Chalice Chat episodes that I wanted to talk about the Scion aspect of this guy's name. And there's potential kind of connection there. Whoops, I should have been healing, I guess. I think there was one other... Great. This is what my moments of indecision and thinking get me. Alright, so, gonna actually try and focus on the boss name as I fight the boss. And I've talked about the Scion thing, I've talked about the quite literal version. What I wanted to bring up was something else. I was, I was watching some video, I forget actually which one it was now, at some point, and realized I don't think I've said anything to this point about the connection between the sound Pthumeru and the word tomb. Like these are all ancient tombs, and this is Pthumeru. I think I just kind of wanted to mention that it's definitely an aspect of the English. Oh, I remember why I wanted to bring what I was thinking of it in. I was thinking of it in the context of Pthumeru Iru, because I mentioned before that il can kind of the Iru in Japanese sounds like another Japanese word for ill, and so as you combine that with Pthumeru, and you get this idea of sickness and then death. I don't know how much, how accurate that is, because while on the one hand I feel like ill is potentially a pretty well-known term in Japanese, reasonably well-known, I'm not certain that the word tomb is. It definitely does work, especially in English. Ha! I actually dodged one of those hits that time. But again, I don't know, that might be reading a little bit too much into things. There's also, I think, this was another thing that I was seeing. Someone had mentioned a connection between Umeru, or Umeru, which can mean to give birth to, kind of being part of the word Pthumeru. That's theoretically possible. I'm even less convinced of that than I am of the whole tomb aspect of things, because at least the tomb aspect, in Japanese, you have the sound tomb sort of included. Tume, I guess. There's another reason to be somewhat skeptical of the tomb thing, is because the katakana phonetic, if you shorten it, you don't get tumu or tumu, you get tume, or yeah, from tumeru. So that's a little bit weird. And then you'll note that the dang it, stop hitting me. I'll get back to what you can note in a second. I don't remember this boss being this difficult. It's not one of the bosses that's like lodged in my brain, and the earlier encounter I think was pretty easy. But then again, this is extremely low. This is almost as low as you can go in the Chalice dungeons, so if you're gonna get a more powerful version, then why not? But anyway, what I was gonna say was, one of the things you can note about the katakana is that, alright, so first of all, the way that katakana works, and if you've spent a lot of time kind of listening to Japanese speech, you'll probably have noted this already. There aren't a lot of consonant sounds that are not paired with vowels. So that's why you can sometimes get vowels in katakana English that aren't there in the original, that you have to kind of ignore if you want to get to what the word actually is in the source language. So, whoops. So normally, dodged it, haha. Normally in katakana, you don't really have a consonant vowel combination that is two. That's a somewhat unusual sound in katakana. The combination of the U vowel and the T consonant isn't typical. So normally you'd have like normally it would be chu to get a sort of equivalent. But this particular representation is, dang it, I dodged forward instead of to the side. One of the few times when dodging to the side is actually useful is against this boss, apparently. But the, great. Yeah, I'll take the opportunity to heal. Should be dodging forward. Ooh. Oh, it was a spin. Should have known. Haha, that's too far away. Yeah, this is not looking good. Dodge to the, nope, dodge too late. So katakana, the U there is the second thing. You'll notice it's small, and the reason for that is that if it was big, the typical katakana kind of T sound that's leading off there would be pronounced to, with an O for the vowel sound, and the U in even though it's not really used this way in katakana, it can be used this way, and it's always, well, not always, but typically used this way in hiragana. The U sound is normally a symbol to, ooh, I'm alive. Give me a little bit of health. And heal up and survive. Haha. But the U sound, the U symbol is typically, or very frequently used, especially in hiragana, to extend the O sound in words. So rather than to, you get to. So if that was a full-size U, you would get tomeru instead of tumeru. So, the reason I bring that up, oops, is that if you want to say that Pthumeru, or to be born, is, or, well, I guess, okay, here's the other half of things that I was forgetting, because Pthumeru can be related to birth. Pthumeru can also be related to burial. So tomb and burial, right, I think is the association, the set of associations that people kind of want to go for. And the reason I'm a little bit skeptical, the reason I'm a little bit skeptical of that is because dang it, keep dying, stop dying. I just want to make these points. I had 3 points that I wanted to make. Maybe one more that I don't think I'm going to even try to make in this episode because it's gone on too long. I can't do it. I can't. It's too hard. But we'll try and finish this one anyway, which is that the linking of that T sound and that oo sound make me think it's kind of asking a lot to get that Pthumeru meaning to work. Because what's happening in the word is the oo sound is telling you to go from to or tol to tu. And that's sort of the linguistic function. And therefore, you don't really have a full Pthumeru part of the word. You have a run together tu and meru. And because of that, it seems a little bit weird to me to also expect it to be pulling a double pun on, birth, burial, and birth, burial, and the sound for tombs. And I'm a little bit, this is also the reason why I'm a little bit more accepting of the tomb theory for Pthumeru, because the tu sound is the point of those first two characters, the first big tol and the second small u. So if they're going for the tomb sound, that makes sense to me, because it's just, I essentially read those two characters as one, and because I essentially read those two characters as one, it's weird for me to think of them as two, if you know what I mean. Because if I think of them as two distinct sounds, I'm more likely to see the Pthumeru in the word. But if I think of them as one set of sounds, the to and the u becoming two, I'm less likely to... I doesn't seem to me like Pthumeru is in the word. So I think that was one heck of a messy way to make a set of points. But, oh great, now my weapon's about to break. Of course. Of course. All right, well, I'm going to have to repair that in the dream. Let's see how the let's see how this thing does. My fire +9 saw cleaver does. I mean, it has the advantage that it's a faster weapon. So, it's not all doom and gloom here. My arcane is quite high, so it's benefiting from that scaling. Oops. For some reason... Oh, I know why. I'm used to the L1 giving me my lightning buff. And so I was thinking the L1 on the saw cleaver here would give me a fire buff. That's not how this weapon works. Alright. But, oops. One way or the other... This is going to let me do a little bit more of the testing that I wanted to do. Come on. If I can get a second here to do anything. Maybe not. Great. Great. Fantastic. Very cool match for the enemy. Not a very cool match for me. Alright. What I wanted to say was I wanted to test some of my other arcane options, such as you have seen selected for some time now, that I've basically been forgetting about and struggling to be somewhat coherent, is I have these Executioner's Gloves. And if I dodge out of the way of that weapon, and then blast this guy, alright, he's going to dodge away, and that pillar is going to get in the way. However, if the pillar doesn't get in the way, how much damage does that do? About 492. Oh, I should have gone back to the dream. Oh well. I forgot to see how much just the first hit did. 334. So the Executioner's Gloves are not doing a huge amount of damage to this Pthumerian Descendant. So that's good to know. Arcane is probably not the way to go here. I'm not even going to bother trying a Call Beyond in this fight, just because I feel like it would take too long. This foe is fairly dynamic in moving quickly through the arena and got me with that pirouette. Oh boy. I gotta remember to go back to the dream. I'll cut back after that. Okay, I am back from the dream. I am switching back to my now repaired Tanatress, and I'm going to give this, I think, one last voiced attempt as I kind of express my stream of consciousness thoughts in the midst of the fight. And then afterwards, because presumably this will be a failure, afterwards I will head back to... Oh, interesting, 380. Hold on a second. Oh, 438, but that's because he was in the middle of an attack. Okay, well that's somewhat interesting. Ow, of course. And yikes. Alright, that was not... I want to get a baseline comparison here. I was saying presumably I'll die and have to go to montage mode, by the way. That was the point I was starting to make there. And then I got intrigued by this... You gonna pirouette at any point? There it is. And charge up. Said charge up. Alright, and dodge, dodge. Alright, nope. 438 again. 438 again. Okay. Alright, 380. So I want to compare that again to my saw cleaver. Nope, 468. That seems high. Okay. I'm gonna throw? No? Dang it. 334. Okay. So, interesting. I think base, the Tanatress is doing more. However, dang it. There was that particular interrupt that I got that was causing some problems for this guy. That's interesting. Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to keep dodging. Alright, gotta dodge that thing. And dodge again. And missed. So the best time to hit that guy is when he's in his kind of very lengthy attack and recovery animations. And yep. There we go. Heal up. Dodge forward. And that attack took so long, even though I mistimed it, I could go through it again. Yep. There we go. My favorite attack of his. My my real favorite attack of his is, dang it, the one that misses me, even though I don't do anything. It just happens to go over my head. Unlike what happened with that pirouette. You gonna keep following up? Yep. Alright. Of course. Oh, I thought that was gonna be a throw. Okay. And dodge through. Well, didn't dodge through, but I got past him. So that's good. And second attack? I can get that second attack off. It's a little bit better. Alright, my stamina's a little bit low. Gotta dodge through the attacks. Alright. I have less practice with this phase. I know he throws 2 of them. All of his attacks are like doubled. And they therefore hurt a bit more. That timing was off. That timing was way off. Well, he got a cool scissor death on me. Alright, I'm going to switch over to montage mode. And I will see you at the final attempt. Why is your reach so incredible? Dang it. Yeah, we both went for it. We both missed. Is that it? I got the heal. Ah. Outranged it. Uh-oh. Outranged the lock on as well. I'll take dodge in 3 out of 4. Nope. That hurts so much. Still in the long haul. No. Don't dodge that by enough to feel comfortable. I'm out of healing. Alright, well, attack's all I got. Thought more of those would miss. Ah, right into it. Yep. Oh, I'm alive. That always clips me. But it didn't that time! Whoa! I thought I was dead. Oh, what a victory. Hooray! Totally unexpected. Whew, okay, that was a tough fight. You may have noticed that I switched to my saw cleaver here. I did that because what I realized was while a single strike from my Tonitrus was doing more damage, a good number of times, at least when it was fully buffed, a good number of times I wasn't getting the buff off because it was taking too long. And we have a pre-lantern path here for next time. It was taking too long to get the buff constantly set up, and frequently I would be able to do 2 swings of my saw cleaver as opposed to the 1 from the Tonitrus. So I switched to the saw cleaver as a slightly more effective weapon, faster against that particular enemy. But yeah, all right, that boss is down. We have now proceeded to layer 2 of the great Pthumeru Chalice. And I will go back to the dream, reinvigorate my stock of blood vials, maybe level up, and look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, thanks for watching, everyone. Come on. There we go. Thanks for watching, everyone.